Hey, it's Barbecue Rami here, and I want to talk about this coal smoke generator by Outdoor Magic and how to put it together, because these instructions just didn't do it justice. So let me go through it for you step by step of how I would put this together, because it can be a little bit daunting and confusing. Here we go. To set up your smoke generator, you have all these parts. There's a nice large tube, no hole in it. This is where the magic happens. It's using a Venturi effect. There's heat coming up from the pellets, which you obviously start through the holes. There's two little holes on each side. Show that properly. And one hole there. That's where you light the fire. Okay, so we get this tube. They give you this brass. They don't tell you what to do with this. Basically, this thing sits inside there. Somewhat a little bit difficult to screw in that way. My hack is to use this tube. It has a thread on the inside, but there's no thread on that. So what I did was I snuck that in there, and with this, slide it in, trying to find the tube. And then the trick is to get it all lined up. You should be able to, by twisting this, you should be able to screw this in. It's a bit tedious. There we go, taking for it. There we go. And you can see there, it's starting to come out. You can take that out and hand screw it in yourself if you got small, nimble fingers. I don't, I've got big, clumsy thumbs. Just make sure that's sort of tight. The good thing is you can obviously undo all this and clean it all separately. Okay, so that's done. Now, they tell you to put this through that hole. This has got to be facing down. So if you haven't figured this part out, that goes in there and technically should come out that way. Looking underneath, you can see that there's the brass tube which is blowing air through, so the smoke will be drawn as the air is blowing that way. The smoke will come out. They give you this hook. They basically say that inside the hook's going to hook on this tube, but I struggled with that. They give you these two plates like that magic track. They're supposed to be upside down. And that's your base plate. Then they give you this plate here, which basically the tube goes through there, and this can be bolted to something like a cupboard, an old smoker. If you have something that you can screw this in, they give you the screws to go through each one, and you can bolt that on and the tube will come through that. So how do I set this up? I take off that wing nut from the hook, and then that is flipped upside down, goes through there. Now we put the wing nut, but we don't tighten that wing nut up. Just leave it a bit loose, because that's got to go up this tube. So why I do it this way, because I struggled very hard to hook that onto the tube. That goes over the top, and that hook is supposed to capture that tube, right? But this slides in there, and then if you could get into that hole, and just, oops, and you can see in there, I've got the hook pointing to try and catch that tube as it comes in. If you can see that. I'll try and get something to support this. Maybe this will do. Put that underneath. Okay, and now we can sit there and try and hook it up. Give it some time. Okay, so we can see there, the hook's over it. Now that's the open part. You want to twist that around, and now we try and sneak that into the other hole on the side. Just put that back down. Try to use two hands. Fiddly. Okay, turn that around so that hole is facing below, and then on the side you can see that threads come through. Now that won't work there. It's this part. Screw that through. Make sure that it's all tight. Get rid of that. Okay. You see the hook's properly over the tube. The tube's facing down. The whole of the tube is facing down. We go underneath. And give it a good tight. And there you have it. This is the lid. This part here is for the hose, and that goes the last piece onto there. This goes in. One side goes into this end. You probably want to heat it up a bit with some hot water to expand that. Okay. So we try and push that hose as far as we can to hook on. We get the motor. You can see there's two holes. You can see it's got two equally length hoses connect to a third hose, which is the main hose. And what you simply do is place it into this. Again, you need to get some hot water in, if you like, to expand that opening. And obviously, as it cools, it will start to shrink over that opening and give you a good seal. It shouldn't blow off. And there's your adjuster, faster to slower, basic aquarium pump. So if this goes down, you can always buy another one. Just be aware, don't put this inside your cabinet smoker, because there's a filter there that will start to block up and slow down the airflow into your Venturi effect smoke generator. So how does this work? Obviously you can screw these into another smoker box if you like to build your own. Blowtorch through there on each side, and basically this is going to be filled up with pellets. If you look at the instructions, you will get 12 hours of smoke time with 1 kilogram wood chips, pellets or sawdust. Probably use pellets in this. Wood chips, you know, if you have too large of a wood chip, it'll be a problem, but that means you need to keep an eye on this. And of course, when you're finished using your smoke generator, you can all unplug this and wash the components separately. I hope you enjoyed my little setup of the smoke generator by SD Berg or Outdoor Magic. Thank you kindly, and click subscribe, like. This is Barbie signing off.